Hello, my name is Lisa Featherstone, and I'm curating the current batch of webinars for Techability. Today we have two great presenters who are going to explain how Assistiv enables young people with barriers to employment to work independently and, importantly, to be paid for doing so. Our two presenters are Nigel Cork, the CEO of Assistiv, a community interest company, and Graham Thomas, the Corporate Development Lead at the Oaks Specialist College in Tunbridge in Kent, where they are running a pilot to support one of their employees. Nigel.
Okay, so Assistiv, it's all about employment for us, and using our assistive technology to help change lives. So, just for clarity, we're a not-for-profit. We're a CIC, so we're a community interest company. We're a not-for-profit, and we're a tech company. But our purpose is all about helping people with learning disabilities and or autism into paid work. And that, I do stress that because that's the thing that really helps transform lives. It gives people not only income, but it also gives self-esteem and motivation and camaraderie and all the things that go with work. And if any of us ever try to imagine your life without paid work, it's very difficult. But our tech, the people we're looking to support, we're very clear on that. But our tech, once it's in place, can support anyone with barriers to employment. So the challenge, and these figures are probably figures you well know, but only 4.8% of people are actually working. That means 900,000 or more than 900,000 people out of work. And this is, it's a huge impact at the personal level and for families and everyone involved. But it's an overlooked resource to the economy. And the people that we work with, they can genuinely work and be productive, but they need support. And if that support can only be provided by human beings, then typically that doesn't work long term, because people have their own work to do and frustrations can build. So we've, in all the work we've done, we feel there's 4 key barriers. Communication is massively important. It's interesting that with communication, some people can be pretty good communicators, but sometimes they can communicate or give the feeling that they understand more than they actually do. And there are those that are can be very poor at communicating, and actually they understand a lot more than they think. So we try to help around communication, emotional regulation at work, so coping exercises and just managing anxiety, short-term memory, reminders of things they need to do, but instead of having to tap somebody on the shoulder and disturb their work, we can do it via the tech. And social interaction. For a lot of people, they can work, they can do a good job, but they find it very hard to fit in socially at work. So we've got some functionality that helps them with that. So this is what we do. People receive prompts throughout the working day, and it's accessed via an app on their own personal phone. But this is a key point here, is that things are personalised and tailored for the individual. So this isn't square peg and round hole. We make it personalised for the individual, and it's all about them being their best and allowing them to be their best. In thinking about those barriers, the support we provide is support before they get to work. So being work ready means they can get lists of things they need to remember to take to work. A frustration we see often is if people forget to take their pass into work. Somebody has to sort that out. If they forget their food or lunch, somebody has to sort that out. All these things are small things, but over the weeks and months and everything, they add up. So we send a notification to their phone to remind them to bring in whatever they need to. And with travel support, then they can get information around anything about the travel that they need to be reminded of. And then when they're on their way to work, if they're running late, so a lot of people, if they're running late, they get very anxious and stressed. They know they should probably phone in, but they just can't face doing that. So we've got an easy way for them to tap a button and a pre-written text goes to all the right people. Similarly, with being unable to work if they wake up with a flu or any other issue. Communication at work. Again, a lot of the people we support find it hard at times to go over and say to somebody that they've got a problem or they've got a question. So we've got some very simple functionality that allows them to do that. Emotional check-in, so they can check in with their emotions at various times of the day, and if they're starting to slide, then it can allow early intervention, and then they can be pointed to strategies, coping strategies, breathing exercises, videos of their own cat or dog, whatever it is that helps them just to get their emotional regulation back. Short-term memory aids, which I mentioned, and then social integration, whereby we can get some co-workers who volunteer, maybe 1, 2, or 3, and then they get the app along with the individual, but the individual can put on there the things they're interested in, maybe their siblings and everything else, and it makes the whole, takes away the awkwardness of social integration. So somebody can go up to them and say, how's your brother getting on, or if they're into Formula One, how's something about Lewis Hamilton, that sort of thing. So all these things are there just to overcome some of the basic barriers. On the top of that, we also provide specific task support. So this is where they will have an NFC sticker and potentially which they can access via a phone and get information, but they can also have a hands-free smartwatch. And what we can do on there is if they have issues with sequencing, so if we had somebody servicing coffee machines and there's about 15 things they had to do in the right order, so we just had that on the watch and they just push that each time, and that helps them with their memory, but there's also safety and quality control elements to it. As I say, via the iPhone and smartwatches, which we would provide, and using the NFC stickers. So very briefly, this is just a great example. So Megna is someone with autism, and she also has a speech impediment, slight speech impediment, but she does get anxious and she does have some memory gaps. We had an opportunity in a care home in Leeds where the bistro had been shut throughout COVID and they couldn't find anybody to open it. And we suggested Megna in aligned with our technology. They were definitely very sceptical to start with, but they, fair play to them, they gave it a go, and she's still there. So that was October 22. So she's 2.5 years on. She's still there. She runs it completely independently. Now, what would happen is somebody would go in and say to her, "Can I have a cappuccino, Megna?" And she would be absolutely fine with that. But when they had a little event in there with all the old people in there, people would be going, "Megna, can I have 3 cappuccinos and a chocolate?" And that would completely overwhelm her. So what we were able to do with the tech is that each order now comes through to her watch, and she's able to do each one at a time. And that means there could be 30 people in there, but she's working constantly, continuously, and providing all the drinks. And it's amazing. But she also has some backup strategies. There's even a video of her mum just calming her down if ever she needs it. That's an example of somebody that's been there 2.5 years. And to be honest with you, her issue was that interviews were an absolute nightmare for her. But she can work, and her confidence has just gone through the roof. And she even has taken a driving test and passed a test. So this has really transformed her life.
Graham.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Nigel. Yes, I work at the Oak Specialist College. We're in Tunbridge in Kent, and we support 18 to 25-year-olds with learning disability. We are a relatively young college, so we've been going since 2018. Started at that point with 10 learners. We are shortly about to, in our next academic year, be going up to just under 150 learners at the college. And we help to build skills, knowledge, and behaviours that will prepare them for their next steps into adulthood. As a college, we've got really strong credentials within the tech space. So we are Microsoft Showcase College. We also have an award-winning accessibility team. We're in the fortunate position to being able to run an exclusive pilot with Assistiv. This is allowing Assistiv to receive some quality data and to continue to evolve. But also for us, obviously, it's fantastic because we can use the app to support our young people. And how we've done that initially is as an employer, because we deal with a lot of employers ourselves. So we wanted to be confident in using Assistiv. We have a young man who is a former learner of ours, Jake. He works in our site team, and as part of his duties to build up on his independence, we've used Assistiv, and we've used it through the business model with the NFC technology that Nigel was talking about earlier. I have a video that I think will probably demonstrate a lot better how Jake works with the app and what we've started to do with Assistiv. So,
the Oak Specialist College are currently collaborating with an exciting not-for-profit company who specialise in assistive technology. Their application is designed for people with learning disabilities and autism, allowing them to navigate daily challenges, interact with the space around them, and flow through tasks with confidence. This is especially helpful in the workplace, breaking down tasks into manageable chunks. Every bit of the support can be customised to the individual's needs and the specific task, and uses everyday devices to access. Ahead of using the application to support our learners, our colleague Jake has been using it to assist with his duties. Jake's a former learner at the Oaks and has recently joined the site team as an assistant. One of the ways in which Jake uses the app is as a reminder for each step of his morning routine, checking and replenishing hygiene stocks around the college. He can do this via an Apple Watch. Jake uses a screen reader to access written communication. Using the built-in accessibility functions of the watch, he's able to receive the instructions as audio through a Bluetooth headset.
Reception water dispenser. EFLAW corridor water dispenser. Gents toilet at end of corridor. Reminder, knock on stall doors first.
Each audio message serves as a reminder for Jake for the next step in his morning rounds.
Reception water dispenser.
Once he's made the relevant checks and topped up the stock as necessary, he simply taps the watch to receive a reminder of the next point of his round. This ensures that he doesn't miss any of the locations across the college.
EFLAW corridor water dispenser.
To support with the individual elements of each task, the application makes use of mobile technology. Smart stickers are placed at specific points around the workplace, and the individual taps their mobile device to these in order to open instructions to take them through each task. These instructions can be a checklist or even photo or video content. These prompts and guides are fully customizable for each smart sticker. They also provide an element of quality assurance, and the data collected can be shared with mentors and managers. In the example shown on screen, Jake is able to tick off each task as he completes it, and also to report any incidents that he comes across. He can use the microphone to speak through a message, and as it's typed out, it can then be emailed on to his manager. Once Jake becomes familiar with each task, the smart stickers can be removed and reprogrammed for another task, or even for the use of an entirely different individual. Use of the app allows Jake to complete tasks safely and independently. It helps create a workplace environment where people with diverse needs can thrive.
I really hope that it demonstrates far better than I could exactly how Jake is benefiting. It really has seen a huge improvement in his confidence, and it's allowed him to be independent with a number of tasks. Since that was recorded, we're using it in different ways. So the next steps for us, we want to continue to give Jake further independence and introduce some new processes that we have at the college that he perhaps hasn't been able to do as yet, and to make them as accessible as possible to him. An example of that, we've been working with Assistiv on our water testing process, and it was a really inaccessible task, and now it's a new efficient way of recording that data and reporting on it, and it benefits the whole team, not just Jake. So now he can use the stickers in numerous different ways. But more to that, we're moving on as well to use the Assistiv Professional and that wraparound support again that Nigel was talking about earlier. We're going to be using that with our learners in the college and supporting them in some of the work-related connections that we have with our business partners. One of the things that the Assistiv Professional provides is an understanding of personal and professional standards. So we can get information from each learner about their own personal circumstances and some of the barriers that they may have, even within the home, around access to appropriate clothing, something that they can actually put and say, this is going to be my work clothing. Could be even things like access to hot running water at home. We can have a great understanding at the start and then start to build so that it's bespoke guidance and is for that individual and has full personalization. Obviously it includes, as we've heard, support for the individual's well-being as well. Just in summary, we've been delighted. It's really been fantastic working with Assistiv, and we're really looking forward to the next steps. We've seen the growth in confidence for users and employers like ourselves. It's constantly evolving, and we've been really pleased to be a part of that.
Just like to say thank you to Graham as well for those kind words. It's great to hear it's working there. And just to clarify, because Graham was mentioning professional there, we've got two elements to our tech. One is the professional, which is the one I ran through around all the wraparound communication, emotional regulation, all those issues, and social interaction. And then and within that, we can provide some sort of task-related help. But the work we've been doing with the Oaks is more what we call the business product, which is where it's specifically around a task. And what that means is often that's actually quite a lot of work to get that right, to get all the nuances of that, maybe the systematic instruction right and everything else. And what we're doing is we're gradually building up these assists that then they're for a particular role, then they can be put into our assist store, which I'll come on to in a second. The impact of where it's been used has been that the users have said it's made them more independent and increased their confidence, and employers report an increased confidence in employing people, which at the end of the day, they're the ones with the gift of a job. Our tech is aimed at everybody in that ecosystem, including job coaches and training organisations. Of where it's been used has been that the users have said it's made them more independent and increased their confidence, and employers report an increased confidence in employing people, which at the end of the day, they're the ones with the gift of a job. Our tech is aimed at everybody in that ecosystem, including job coaches and training organisations. So just a couple of three partnerships there. Compass Group, a sort of massive company, 55,000 people, all working in hospitality and facilities management. But most people have never heard of them because they work on site at like the Tottenham Hotspur ground, the sports grounds, the O2, and in Leeds at KPMG use them to do all their internal hospitality and facilities management. So we're doing a lot of work with them, which is very promising. Heineken in Ireland, they use us for all their events, whatever, like the European Rugby Cup or whatever it was. We had a place there. And they've been incredibly supportive and want us to get the tech out to all their pubs in Ireland, which is quite exciting. And the NHS, we're working with about 15 different trusts within the NHS supporting people. Just finally, we're funded by Access to Work. So there's a lot of, that's very much up in the air at the moment, but that's how we've always been funded, and we are at the moment. And we hope that will continue. So whoever we work with, our tech is free. It's the individuals that apply for Access to Work. We work with them, and they're often through an organisation that does it for them. That's how we're funded. We'll look to have other revenue streams in the years to come. The Assistiv Academy is all the help and the how-to videos, so this can be rolled out remotely. And the Assist Store is where we have all our assists, which are basically is our word for the functionality. So if they need travel support, that is an assist, that's in the Assist Store. But as we build up other assists, for example, we had somebody working in a hotel, Holiday Inn Express, and they carved a job for somebody with Downs to go in, and they would use the watch to take off the duvet, take off the pillowcases, bottom sheet, empty the bins, fill up the coffee, and replace the towels. And so they did that, and then the other cleaners would then go in after them. And up to that point, they were doing it together. And to be honest with you, the individual was actually just getting in the way. But now they job carved it, and with our tech, that person was independently going to room after room after room. And the other cleaners loved it because they were the sort of jobs they didn't really want to do, and it worked out brilliantly. So that assist is in the Assist Store. So if somebody else has got anybody working in a hotel, then they could potentially use it. Simply get in touch with me. My details are there. So please, either call or email me. I really don't mind either. I'm more than happy to expand on everything we've talked about.